Hello everyone, I'm back out on the water in my crawdad, and we're doing something a little different today. We're fishing a crystal clear stream. I've never been here before, don't really know what to expect, but right away I'm getting into some fish. Basically, as soon as I picked up that BFS rod, you can see I'm swirling on it. That's a Zoom Super Fluke Junior, and it takes me a while to figure them out, but I've got a mix of stream smallmouth, little perch, and trout, and they are all kind of nipping at the heels of that Super Fluke Junior.
Come on now.
I've got no wind.
Come back.
There's a good deal of current. I know it's kind of hard to tell on the video, but the current's flowing pretty well. There's a lot of weeds, and I'm working that Super Fluke over. It seemed like the best spots were not where the thickest weeds were. It was where there was some sand mixed in with the weeds, and not right on top of the sandy bits either. It was kind of shallow there. But like I've said, I've never been here before. I'm kind of figuring it out as I go along. And I can see fish in the water. And sometimes I spook a smallmouth or a trout or a perch, and they swim away from me, so they can definitely see me. It would help if I could cast a little further. That BFS reel that I have right now, it doesn't cast very far without backlashing. I just missed another one there.
Are they really small?
But I tried some other stuff before. You know, some heavier stuff like whopper ploppers, and I had a jig on. And it just seemed like the line was too thick for the water clarity and the lack of wind. So I was fishing anywhere from 12-pound to 15, 20-pound line or leader material, and the fish were having none of it. But as soon as I put on that little Super Fluke and the BFS rod, I started getting bites right away. So I'm just kind of drifting along here, trying not to run over fish before I cast to them, and seeing if I can fool a few of them. I mean, I could think about fishing a few other baits, mostly top water, and that's just because there's so many weeds in the water, and they're bent over from the current, but there's still just a lot of weeds. So if I was fishing something like a small jerk bait, I would imagine getting those treble hooks hung up. So that's why I'm fishing a weedless Zoom Super Fluke Junior. But the upside of the extra hooks is that I probably would land a few more of these fish that are just swiping at the bait or pulling the tail, especially those little stream trout. You know, they're almost impossible to hook on a Zoom Super Fluke. So the next time I come here, I'll probably bring a few different things, but I just didn't have a lot with me on this trip. I'm trying to work that edge where that sand meets the weeds. Edges seem to be important for fish. I'm also noticing on the shoreline there's a bunch of duck blinds. So, you know, early on a Saturday morning probably is not prime time to fish this in the fall. I might get shot at, or at least upset some duck hunters. But this is a Sunday afternoon and doesn't seem to be anybody in those duck blinds, so should be okay. I think next time I'll come back here, I'll bring the kayak, because I was a little concerned that the trolling motor battery would start to run out the further I got down this stream, and it would be difficult for me to make my way back. But with a kayak, it's just, you know, how tired your arms get, and I feel like I could paddle for quite a while before getting my arms tired. That current is kind of a wild card. You never know. There's a power generation plant upstream, and if there is a release of water, which could happen, you know, that the water could rise and the current could pick up. It might be difficult to make my way back depending on how far I got. I finally hooked a fish.
Took forever?
Took a while. Fish were real fussy today. that there was an east wind earlier, which I don't like, and then there was just no wind at all, which might have been even worse than the east wind. And the fish, they were really just slapping at baits. They weren't eating them very well. There he is. Nice little stream smallmouth. These guys aren't very big, but they think they are. Alright, this is a few casts later. I've only got a couple feet of water in this stream, and the water is very clear, and there's no wind, so I'm trying to work that fluke pretty fast. I don't want to give those fish too much time to really inspect the lure. So there's not much pause at all. Just twitch, 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 twitch. Maybe a half-second pause. I got another little stream smallmouth.
Little guy. Little guy.
They have to fight that current their whole lives, so I think it toughens them up. But they tend not to be very big. Maybe there are some big ones in here. I just haven't fished it before, so I don't know. But I think I'll come back here and bring some more gear, kind of targeted for stream fish, and see if I can't find some big ones on another trip. Maybe push my way further down with the kayak. Even if you're not, knocking them dead fishing, even if it's a little slow, it's a fun place to fish because you can look around and see everything. I mean, you can see fish, you can see what kind they are, you can see them following you, you can see them swirling on the baits. It's kind of a neat place to fish. Might be good sometime in the summer too, if every place around here is kind of hot, the water's warm. Sometimes the stream fisheries stay a little cooler, and that can keep the activity of the fish up too.
I need a different color.
I did notice a lot of bugs. I bet the trout like that. Probably the smallmouth too.
Maybe one more.
But I think if there's no wind here in, say, early June or May, I think the bugs would just eat you up. So that's another thing I have to think about. Alright, a little while later I worked my way back up the stream, and I've got this little back eddy that forms along a sandy point that comes out. And I just figured there had to be a fish in here somewhere. It just looks so good. It's a good spot for the fish to ambush bait, and the bait could be swirling around in that eddy. So I just fished here until I hooked up.
What have I got?
I also saw a sunfish or a rock bass in one of those little side pockets. So I guess there's other fish in this little stream. Kind of get an idea of how hard the current's pulling when you see the fish fighting against it. Had a lot of rain here this summer, and so everything is much higher than it normally is in the fall, and that has the current running high too. So that was pretty much it. I moved around a lot. There's a pond attached to this stream, and I fished that pond for quite a while. I saw some bigger smallmouth, but they just weren't interested in eating today. I threw a lot of stuff at them, and I think it was a case of them seeing me, and they were wise to me right away, and it just was tough fishing. I needed a little bit of wind, and I think I would have been a whole lot better off. But it was fun, sometimes when you go fishing, it's good to have a plan B. And plan B for me today was the stream smallmouth. And they worked out pretty well. I mean, they aren't giant fish, but on that BFS gear, they feel pretty fun, and you can have a good time, even if plan A doesn't work out. All right, that's it. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'll list out all the gear I used in the video description. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!